Welcome back, everyone. President Joe Biden has said that there will be consequences for Saudi Arabia following the decision last week to cut oil production. Yahoo Finance's Rick Newman is following the story and joins us now. Rick, what do we know and how far is it clear at all that Biden is willing to go in any type of response here?
We don't know because he has not clarified what those consequences might be. Now, he has referred to action in Congress, and what he is referring to is a couple of things. First, there are some senators who say maybe we should curtail weapons sales to Saudi Arabia or maybe just stop them altogether. That would get Saudi Arabia's attention for sure, because where else are they going to get weapons? Not from Russia, I don't think, at this point. I guess they could go to China, but they have a lot of weapons, and they have some major security concerns, such as Iran across the Persian Gulf. They are sworn enemies, Saudi Arabia and Iran. So that would get their attention. And then there's there's a bill in Congress called the NOPEC Act. That's obviously a pun on OPEC or a play on OPEC. And if that were to pass, what that would do would allow the U.S. government to file antitrust or price fixing charges against OPEC nations. Now, number one, it's not clear Congress will pass that, and it might not be a good idea to try to pursue price fixing allegations against OPEC countries, because that would potentially roil oil markets even more than they already are. But those are a couple of things that are happening. And I don't really know whether Biden means that something is going to change, or he just feels like he has to address this issue now with just a couple weeks left before the midterm elections. And a lot of Americans pretty riled up at OPEC and Saudi Arabia for apparently siding with Russia and cutting oil production, which will keep prices high.
Well, Rick, lay it out for people who don't follow Washington that closely. Like, what does Saudi Arabia do for the U.S. that has caused the U.S. to maintain the relationship even before now, in the face of Jamal Khashoggi's murder, for example? And now with this, and there certainly have been other issues through the years, is it because of the Iran proximity? Are there other reasons that the U.S. still feels it needs to court Saudi Arabia as an ally?
We're in the process of sorting this all out. This is entirely about oil. It's not about anything else going on in the Middle East. And if we go back a little over 30 years, I mean, the United States went to war in 1990 and 1991, basically to defend Saudi Arabia against Saddam Hussein. And that was entirely because of oil. That was to protect an open supply of oil. Now, a lot has changed since the first Gulf War. The United States is now an even bigger producer of oil than Saudi Arabia is. And yet we still have to deal with global oil markets. We cannot just shut ourselves off from global markets, because oil is a global commodity and no single nation can really control the price of oil. It's traded globally, and we have to accept the global price and global supplies. So I think the question now is there some way we can wean ourselves off of this dependence on Saudi Arabia that was in place before the United States became such a large oil producer? And honestly, it's an open question. I think the Saudis, they are what you might call a swing producer. So they have the ability to put more oil on the market in a short period of time, which could push prices down. And they also have the ability to take oil off the market, which would push prices up. So this is a complicated relationship. It's in flux. Things are changing. We're also obviously moving over to more renewable types of energy, but we don't have enough of that yet to completely make the leap away from fossil fuels. So we have to figure out how to manage this relationship with Saudi Arabia.